Hello again. Now I'm going to be covering exercise 12 in your Rhino Training Manual Level 1. And this particular exercise doesn't necessarily have an auxiliary model that's associated with it. I am, however, using a template, which is small objects millimeters. And for the beginning of this particular exercise, I'm really just going to kind of explain a little bit about what polar coordinates are and how they work within Rhino. So polar coordinates specify a point that is a distance and a direction away from 0, 0 in the current construction plane. Vector directions in Rhino start with 0 degrees at 3 o'clock on a standard clock, like you see here. And notice that the degrees change in a counterclockwise direction, as you see demonstrated here. So, for example, if you say were to want a point 4 units away from the construction plane origin at a 45-degree angle counterclockwise from the construction plane, you would the construction plane x-axis, you would type 4 left pointing arrow 45, and then you would press enter. Relative polar coordinates are preceded by an R or the @ symbol, and absolute polar coordinates are not. And then if you notice on this second diagram here, this is really how Rhino recognizes the point entries and the angle entries and distance entries within the polar coordinates commands. So you'll see here, this would be, Rhino associates this as the last point. This is the angle that you type in. Again, remember, in Rhino, the angles move in a counterclockwise direction. And then Rhino recognizes this as the next point, the final placement, and this would be the distance of this particular line segment. Okay, so now I'm going to move back over closer towards the actual origin point of this template so I can begin with exercise 12. So let's get started. From the curve menu, go ahead and click Polyline, and then Polyline. The command bar is going to read start of polyline. Right there, I would like for you to type in 0, 8, and then hit enter on your keyboard. And then the command bar wants to know the next point of the polyline. In this case, it's going to be R5, left pointing arrow 0. Press enter. For the next point, we're going to type in R5, left pointing arrow 90 degrees, enter. And for the next point, we're going to type in R5, left pointing arrow 180 degrees, enter. And lastly, to close the polyline, we're going to move our cursor over to the command bar and click close. And now this completes exercise 12, entering polar coordinates.